My daughter stopped talking to me, so I let her go. I'm already so mad about this.
I thought I could get through this without crying.
27% of American adults have cut contact with a family member, lasting an average 4.5 years.
I never dreamed I'd be part of that statistic.
Fall 2020.
Have you seen this?
Oh, it is her husband. Okay, that makes
Dear
sense.
parents, I need to speak my truth. All my life, I've been gassed about what I need to say. I need you to know how you're hurt my mental health. It's bad. Have my life ruined because of you.
90% of the letter was about politics and how we couldn't be in her life if we supported that guy.
Oh, okay. We made a full circle. In watching her live stream, somebody asked her if she supported Trump. And she said, I'm not going to get into politics. I'm pretty centered. I've been Republican, I've been Democrat. Here are a few key things we've noticed. It's dramatized, right? Like there's obviously that like thing they were watching isn't real. But in it, the kids are like, I've been gaslit, I've been hurt, I've been all this. And what? She's just like, no. And now she has a letter. She has a letter. Her daughter didn't just cut her off. Her daughter sent her a letter. And in the letter it reads, the only point she's brought up so far is we cannot have a relationship if you support that guy. We later learn that her daughter is a content creator and a cosplayer, right? Her daughter is probably part of some group who has been attacked by Trump. And now her parents are supporting him. And they're watching her cut them off and finding different ways to blame her, which is so stupid. We're 45 seconds into this video and I have no reason to not hate her. Publish a letter. Do it. I'll read all 30 pages.
This kind of angry outburst from her was so out of character.
Right. So if she's angry for the first time, she probably has a good reason for doing so. Right? Can we put that together?
We were shocked. We just didn't know what to do. I mean,
Received?
I thought I was a good mom. Not perfect, but pretty good.
Honestly, I was in denial at this point because I thought this was more a thing between her and my husband, Ted, because I'm not that political at all. So
if your husband's voting for Trump, your daughter has an issue with it, and you, whatever, don't do anything about it, you're picking a side. You're picking a side. So shut up. Also, realizing that it's her husband, right, who's the Trumper, and then having like mentally gone back to the videos we watched with him.
So I thought we could still have a relationship.
So one day I responded positively to one of her Facebook posts, like normal, thinking that the letter was just some one-off thing that would blow over. But she unfriended me and followed up with a text that said something like, "You don't get to stay in my life. I'm keeping this number for family emergencies only. Don't contact me."
There's the boundary set. I'm keeping this number for family emergencies only. Don't contact me. Hold on to that.
Ted's sister got involved to see if she could help, but Haley immediately unfriended her, which was surprising
name is Haley.
because the two of them were politically aligned.
Friends offered to step in and say something on our behalf, but after what happened to Ted's sister, we just said no. A couple weeks later, she did not wish me happy birthday for the very first time.
She told you not to talk to her. So that makes sense to me. Not wishing you happy birthday.
This wound was so fresh, I couldn't even say her name when I talked about it.
I've even had some people really close to me decide to move on from me.
Consider that you're the problem.
And that's the hardest of all.
In November, I texted her that we were going to Montana to see her sister for Thanksgiving and that she was
Not a
warmly
family
invited,
emergency.
But if we didn't hear back, we'd assume she wasn't interested. Silence. In December, I texted Merry Christmas and told her that we loved her. Silence.
So that winter, I emailed her a few times, mostly personal development stuff that I thought she'd be interested in.
More silence.
Well, I spelled her name
Around
wrong.
this time, I started watching watching videos on estrangement to see if I could figure out what was going on.
I did it intermittently because I think I was still in denial, thinking she would just come.
I'm a hoarder. 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 I have 15 to 20 tabs open at any time. Oh my God. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55. There are 55 tabs open for this woman. Unless this like little group here is not. But even then, that's like 50.
Come back in time. And it seemed appropriate to reach out occasionally to let her know I loved her because
It's
that's what
not.
moms are
She said,
supposed
don't
to
talk
do,
to me.
right?
I mean, I try to maintain contact.
She said, don't talk to me. Why are you trying to maintain contact when she told you not to? That's also part of the problem, is you don't know how to respect boundaries.
Shut that down.
The longer this went on, the more real it began to feel, and there was just this cauldron of emotions, horrible emotions, shock and shame, anger, denial, sadness, depression, betrayal. It was so hard to process.
I joined some parental estrangement groups on Facebook to see how other parents were coping, and while it was nice to know that I wasn't alone,
I could not spend too much time there because it was all the same misery that I felt. So horribly sad and depressing. There were just broken hearts everywhere. I could not face all that pain.
It must be so hard for you to be the problem.
Sadly, at one point, I had to text her to let her know Grandpa died, Ted's dad.
That is an appropriate text if she had a relationship with that grandpa. If she had a relationship with her grandpa and her grandpa died, that is an appropriate text to send. Hey, you said family emergencies, here's one. But it should come without an expectation, and it's not going to because these people are awful.
She'd had a good relationship with him.
I was very matter of fact about it. He died. There's a memorial. Here's the Zoom link. This was still during COVID. She did attend, to her credit. We were glad to see her there, although we didn't see her there. She didn't have her camera on and she didn't say anything. She was there.
But she doesn't have to say anything to you. She didn't have to turn the camera on either. What was the memorial for you, dude? Why? Yes, exactly, Michael.
I sent her a text wishing her happy birthday and telling her I loved her. Silence. I was so sad on her birthday. This is a very special day for me too. It's the day I first became a mother.
I guess that's my way of saying I still love you, I still think about you, but I don't want to intrude in your space.
No, it's not, because that's exactly what you're doing. I still love you. I still think about you. You told me not to text you, but I'm going to do that because I don't want to intrude in your space. I'm just going to text you, even though you asked me not to.
And instead of buying her a present for her birthday every year, this is probably going to sound stupid, but I buy myself a present for Haley's birthday every year.
That is insane. Instead of buying her a present for her birthday every year, I buy myself a present for her birthday every year. That is wild. I cannot imagine doing that, and I cannot imagine admitting to it. On that, with my inability to stay focused, right? I know a lot of you are not on Pokemon YouTube, right? Like, I play a lot of Pokemon for someone who, doesn't really hang around the Pokemon people. Can we just talk about this real quick? And why you thought this was a good thing to post on Twitter?
It's like a consolation prize.
Mother's Day 2021 also passed in silence for the very first time. By now, I had moved from shock and shame into feeling this kind of low-level anger, definitely resentment, and yeah, betrayal.
My husband may have texted her once or twice that summer, but I did not.
Your Trump husband?
On the 1-year anniversary of her angry letter, I emailed my sad letter response.
The most dull baby ever saying.
I started off with a story about the time I saved her from choking to death.
Oh, that made me so mad. On the 1-year anniversary of her telling me to stop messaging her, I emailed her a story of how I saved her from choking to death as a baby. You owe me. I birthed you. I kept you alive. We were in our late 20s enjoying this moment with friends. As a new mom, I kept a vigilant eye on you. After a good laugh about something, I don't remember what I looked. You were on my back, arms flailing in distress, like a turtle. You were on your back, arms and legs flailing in distress, like a turtle. Your birthday is my birthday. Is wild. Oh, I hate this woman. Like, I legit hate this woman.
On a candy wrapper when she was a baby.
Which was probably the worst way to start, but I didn't know.
Then I went into the I don't know everything, but I did the best I could reasoning.
Then I went on to calmly address some of the points in her letter.
I apologized for not being the parent she needed, but I also expressed dismay at her level of intolerance,
which
the tolerant left is intolerant of bad people. Ugh. So much for the tolerant left. So much for the woke tolerant left. Shut up, dude. Shut up. These people are so bad.
I probably shouldn't have done, but I wanted to be honest and basically just wished.
I probably shouldn't have done, but I wanted to be honest. Here's the thing, right? It's been a year, and you're saying you wrote a sad letter. And in this letter, you are presumably pleading for your daughter to hand you back access to her life. And instead of being like, hey, what can I do? You go, actually, this is why your points are kind of dumb, and you should just let me be your mom again.
I probably shouldn't have done, but I wanted to be honest and basically just wished her the best of everything in life.
My birthday passed in silence once again, which is sad because she was the one who always remembered everybody's birthdays in the family.
She remembers your birthday, dude.
Even my dad's, who she hardly knew.
Around this time, we discovered her TikTok, which I have to confess was strange and difficult to digest because she does a lot of exotic cosplay.
And I couldn't help myself. I binge watched a bunch of them, then combed through all the comments looking for any mention of us.
Out yourself. Have you ever stalked somebody on TikTok and watched all of their content?
I was pretty annoyed at being relegated to the status of random internet viewer, but I was glad that I could see her.
In November, my husband and I caught the super nasty Delta version of COVID. It was truly awful for me.
Dude, I can't even imagine filming all this B-roll. I cannot imagine filming all of this and like feeling good about it. Like imagine she made like a list of the shots she needed, right? Like just a shot list. And one of them is like, look sad in bed under covers.
But way, way worse for Ted. We're talking hospitals, paramedics. It got so bad, I texted her.
I told her that she should call Daddy-O because he had COVID and he wasn't.
I don't ever want to know your family nicknames. I don't want to know your family nicknames. I don't. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Calling your husband, who's the stepfather of your kid, just straight up calling him Daddy-O is so weird.
She should call Daddy-O.
Daddy-O.
Because he had COVID and he wasn't doing well at all. He was really struggling and it was scary. She did call, which was a miracle. But apparently she was almost like an automaton, dead inside. I don't know, kind of like a robot. I mean, Ted really appreciated the call. Don't get me wrong. Really.
No, it's stepdad.
Appreciated that call. It meant so much to him. But it was also like she wasn't all there. It was very strange.
Maybe
Did
because she
text
doesn't
her
want to talk
after
to you
he
guys.
recovered to thank her for calling, but she didn't respond. My dad died on Christmas Day, but I didn't bother to tell Haley because she didn't really know him. He was a sweet guy, but kind of an odd duck living in his own world. But he was my dad, and it was really hard to watch him die. And the one gift that you get out of that.
Great point, Michael. I hadn't put that together. I wonder why you guys may have caught COVID as easily as you did.
That typically is that it makes you realize how short and precious life is. And I'm older. I'm in my 50s. I mean, mortality is right there. When you're a kid, you look at your parents like this big, all-knowing people, and then when you get to be an adult, you realize, oh my God, they're flawed. And there's a breakaway period where you break away and you're like, get away from me. And then usually there's a period where they come back, and hopefully they will at some point. But just in case they don't, they'll have some videos to watch about who was mom and what did she worry about and what did she think about. And I don't know, maybe nobody cares. So I was grieving for Dad that winter, but
if you cared about your child the way you care about how you're perceived on the internet, you would have been a much better mom.
Also for Haley, who didn't seem to care. I texted her
that too. I hate that. I hate that so
winter,
much.
But also for Haley,
who didn't seem to care. Just because they're not speaking to you about things that are happening around you doesn't mean she doesn't care. She doesn't want to talk to you, and you refuse to see that point that was handed to you in those exact words. I understand the information being handed over, Michael, like, hey, your grandpa died. But then expecting them to react the way you want them to react and just start speaking to you is disgusting.
I texted her happy birthday and told her that I loved her, which was my only attempt at contact.
That would be wild. Imagine she made a blooper reel. It's every time she like misspelled a word over text or like autocorrect got her. Or like it's her like putting the blanket over her head and being like, oh my God, was the camera in the right place?
That entire year. Silence.
So of course I had to peek at TikTok.
I read all her birthday comments, and she seemed to have a lot of fans sending her presents. We have been replaced by fans. I ordered Joshua Coleman's book, Rules of Estrangement, scanned a couple of chapters out of order, including the amends letter section,
which I could not stomach because it required far too much contrition.
I started reading a book about the situation that I put myself in and could not continue reading it because I would have to admit fault in any way. The 5 most common mistakes in writing letters of amends, not going far enough. The most common mistake that I see is parents making the letters not simply admitting to their mistakes. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, I could be a pretty controlling person. I can see how that might have been hard on you, or yes, you did suffer a lot as a result of the divorce and you were put through a lot. And you wouldn't have been if we had been able to stay married, and I have to take responsibility for my part in that. Or yes, I should have protected you from your stepfather. You have a right to feel disappointed that I didn't do a better job. Parents more commonly say it in a way that sounds like simple misperception on the part of the adult child. I'm sorry you felt that I was controlling. Scanning a book. Yeah, she couldn't even bother trying to read it. I worry it will reinforce the ways that you're blah blah them against me. A letter of the amends is actually a powerful way to show your strength and love, and maybe the best proof that your ex is wrong about you. Yes.
Which I could not stomach because it required far too much contrition. Like, it's all the parents' fault.
It is.
We had no contact. I threw myself into a new YouTube channel and took a month-long camping trip around the US. After my dad dying and losing Haley, I just needed to get out and start living my own dreams now before it's too late. I brought the Coleman book with me on this adventure, but I didn't read it.
No, you did not.
I was still low-level bitter and resentful over being ghosted. On my birthday, which passed again in silence, I went for a hike.
And 2 years later, she's still not talking to me. Can't make her love me. I can't make her want to talk to me. I can't make her call. I can't.
You could have had her love you if you had been a better parent. If you were someone who was set up, if you were someone who could just understand who she is and what she needs, and then give that to her, and it sounds like it wasn't a lot. It sounds like their little bit of a breakup was because they're Trumpers, and they can't understand that maybe they shouldn't support someone who's a problem.
Can't make her do anything. So I'm just trying to cope. I never in a million years imagined that I would have a daughter who would just cut me out of her life. We did the best we could. And we poured a lot of love and resources and time and energy. And she rejected me. And it's hard not to hold a grudge.
That's wacky, Shippy.
Admitting that I was angry and holding a grudge was really hard because that's not who I am.
It seems like it's who you are.
I binged on TikTok again and found some references to us, including a video dedicated to what she'd learned going no contact with her parents. I sat down with Ted and we watched together.
You know, I think the thing that I guess irks me, that whole love with strings attached thing, I don't get that. I don't know where that comes from.
I don't want to be with people like that.
Love is...
They love you for who you are, not for who they want you to be.
She was tactful, but the comments supporting her decision to dump us were really hard to take. We also learned that she's been diagnosed with ADHD and high-functioning autism, which was news to us.
You know, maybe that explains some of her behavior.
Dude, but you understand that's genetic, right? Like, you said earlier, like she was like, I don't have ADHD, but
We never knew. If we'd have seen it, we would have taken her to doctors, but we didn't see it. She seemed like a normal kid to us.
She doesn't even care how we feel. She doesn't care if we're happy.
the way you feel is the way that hurts her. There are choices that you make who explain who you are. And all you have to do is shut up or go, oh, I didn't think of it that way. Oh, you're right. Instead of being like, no, this is who we are. And you're evil for not wanting to put up with us.
Struggling with this issue. She doesn't care if we're alive or dead. I mean, she doesn't really know. I don't hear any, I'm really sorry. There's nothing there. There's just.
What does she have to apologize for?
She doesn't care. She doesn't care still. I'm sorry, Kitty. I'm just very upset.
I really thought we did our best.
You didn't. We need to get through this video. They're starting the live soon.
I continued my daily meditation practice. And afterwards, I usually spend a few minutes reading from some inspirational book. At one point, I was reading about living a compassionate life.
I'm going to try not to
pause. When I got to
pause.
the chapter on forgiveness, wow.
Lately, I've been thinking about forgiveness. Forgiving her, but forgiveness for myself, too.
I forgive myself for being a bad person to you.
But mostly myself.
Shut up.
Because you can't help but blame yourself.
You should blame
when
yourself. It
something
was your
like this
fault.
happens with a child that you raised and poured all your love and energy and everything. You know, we just gave her the best of everything we could.
Letting go of our anger is a way of being compassionate.
What I hate so much is that they're not addressing what one of the main points was when she was like, I can't be your daughter if you're supporting that man, however she said it. And she just like keeps going back like, well, I was a good mom. I was a good mom. I was a good mom. I don't care if you were a great mom. You're not being one now. And all you have to do is nod your head and shut up.
Ourselves. Anger keeps us stuck in the past, obsessing over what has already happened. Forgiveness does not ignore the harm or justify a person's misdeeds, but it releases the pain and anger connected to them.
Dude, she thinks she's the victim so hard.
I debated texting
Stop sending her happy birthday.
But did not.
Today is my daughter's birthday. She is 29, And she hasn't spoken with us for 2.5 years now. And that has been very difficult to deal with.
I think sometimes that you can apply that, like, oh, she said was, but I think the relationship had an endpoint, right? From the beginning to when she stopped being raised. And you can say I was a good mom during that time without admitting that you're a bad mom now.
But I'm learning to accept it because that's all I can do. The last text I sent was happy birthday last year. So she is lost to us now at this point. And this was not something we ever envisioned for our lives. Oh God, I'm gonna cry. I thought I was gonna make it through this without crying.
And that's the beginning of the video. They will not think of anything through the lens of their child. If this is hard for me, it's probably so easy for them to have cut me off.
It's like she's dead, but she's not. And I'm grateful that she's not. And I am grateful that she's on social media somewhere. If I feel the need to go see her, I can see her. So, happy birthday, Haley.
So
I wish
gross.
you all the best in what you're doing. I admire that you're following your dreams and you're doing what you believe is right. And I hope you are loved and surrounded by people who truly love you, not for some persona that you may be
This is like
online,
I'll pray for you
but
energy.
for who you truly are as a person. You know, you're a kind
There's a
soul
dude with a Trump hat with a little
really
Bible.
big heart with so much love to give. And so I hope you find a place to express that love and find someone's who appreciate that love and reflect it back to you. I wish you health and happiness to just live your best life. Do good in the world. Just know that I still love you, no matter what you say or don't say about me. You can't change that. I will fucking love you forever like you are.
Ew. Shut up.
Because I'm a mom.
You're a bad mom.
Moms are like that.
Dude, I guarantee you she has like an old people smell. That's all I can think about. Okay, this is scheduled for now. For right now, for 4 minutes ago. So let's comment, questions, concerns about that video. Anyone has anything they want to say? That was so awful. Your job as a parent is to have been a parent. Listen, maybe you weren't a great one. Maybe you aren't a great one. If you really, really do your best, your child's going to see that. You don't always have to be agreeable. You don't always have to have the best ideas. But if your daughter feels that something you said or did is so bad that they have to cut you off, you're not the good guy.